More Than Rich podcast. Today I am here with my guest, Costas Schuler. Welcome to the podcast. Schuler. We previously did a pod and ironically, everything fell apart. Like the entire audio, he was just talking to me about his own issues with Riverside. But that's the negative. We don't stay positive, and we should jump into your background real quick. And
yeah. Okay, so let's start with the upbringing. I'm half Greek and half English. I was born in Athens, Greece, and I spent my first 10 years there, but they were very formidable. And then we ended up leaving the country, and I ended up living in England with my grandparents, on and off. And then I actually lived in the Middle East for a little bit. I moved back to England for another year with my grandparents. And then I ended up moving to California with my parents in Silicon Valley. My dad was an engineer, so he sort of moved around a lot and got that, kind of like a migrant worker, sort of, kind of. So I spent most of my life in California. I was married. I got married, and I ended up having 4 children. And then, I raised my kids in Sonoma County, the wine country. And 3 years ago, I got out of California like a bat out of hell and moved to Florida.
I used to live there. In Santa Rosa. Ironic. Yeah, that's ironic, huh? Yeah, for 2 years I lived there. Yeah, I had a business on Cleveland Avenue, made music out of a studio. Yeah, it's a weird, small world.
So on the way to Guerneville.
Yeah, Guern. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy. Yeah, and in the full episode, you're going to dive way deeper into all that, because I remember we related on the Sonoma part. We were like, what?
Yeah.
And
then my work-wise, I went to college. I was supposed to do computer science because my dad wanted me to do that, but I ended up taking art classes. I ended up, doing the graphic design classes. I ended up dropping out after 4 years and basically did graphic design for the next 30 years. So that's so all kinds of interesting things in between. But graphic design has been something that sustained me and something that I've always enjoyed doing, and I'm still doing it.
Yo, you were just on some crazy spiritual journey. I know you had the crazy passing of your mom. Can't imagine. Yeah. My condolences to you.
Thank you.
So how's that been?
That was crazy. That's what I call a black swan event. A black swan event, which is something that happens very rarely. So I just completed this 2-year program with the Warrior Week, and I was at my graduation, in Laguna, and I woke up one day and my dad had texted me saying, "Hey, Mom's got cancer. You need to come to Greece." And so the next month was like me trying to figure out how to go to Greece. How to I had to get a laptop so I could do work. I've never owned a laptop, so I had to figure some logistical things out.
What?
And then.
Yeah, no. I'm like, how have you been doing?
Well, I have an iMac, so that's what I do. I have a big old iMac, and that's how I operate. I'm old school. I guess that's old school. And then I went to Greece. It'd been 40 years since I've been to Greece. So, and what was crazy about it? So, I got there just in time. I spent one day with my mother before she passed away. So that was a beautiful experience where I got to. Fuck, I get emotional. Oof.
It's real.
I got to love on her. I held her. I kissed her. And she wasn't all there, but she recognized me. And the ladies in the room told me that she was waiting for me. She was waiting for me to come and see her. And fucking I wept. I wept a lot, letting go. And even the other 2 ladies in the room, they cried their eyeballs out. And they were it was very an amazing moment there at the hospital. And that was a Saturday. There was a lot of stress on my body. So the Sunday, I went to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack. I was having issues, I didn't feel good because there's a lot of emotion. The following Monday, my brother comes from America to be with us so we can take Mother to her island. There was a 7-hour ferry ride to the island to bury her.
That's
so
cool.
Monday, Tuesday, we're at the hotel. Wednesday morning, we're about to leave with my dad is there too. So this is crazy. So Wednesday morning, I get a knock on the door at the hotel room and the guy's like, "Hey, your brother just had an accident So he fell, he cracked his head, he had a brain injury. So like that morning I had to like let my brother go to the hospital with a fucking brain injury, like
Whoa.
massive brain. He was in a coma for weeks.
Whoa.
Like, I thought he was going to die. So I had to let him go and then get on the boat with my mother in the coffin and my dad, go to the island 7 hours away, get there, go up the mountain and funeral ceremony. And I got to pay for drinks. I didn't know about that, but I had to pay for drinks at the coffee shop. They don't tell you these things. Oh, by the way, it's 700 euros for the digger to dig the hole. Oh, by the way, it's $1,000 for the guy to pick up your mom. So it was like, okay, hidden costs.
Yeah.
So it was all these hidden costs. But so I got to. It was crazy. So I got to like see my relatives, my cousins, my uncles, my aunts, up on this beautiful village up on the island of Ikaria. It was very emotional. So I ended up being there a month, because now my brother's in the hospital, and there's all this paperwork I have to do. So I'm running around. I have to speak Greek that I haven't spoken in a long time. I have to communicate in Greek. I'm using ChatGPT trying to figure out what the freaking emails. Like I have to like deal with like government agencies, like trying to find my birth certificate. Yeah. So like. Go to this place. They say, no, go to this place. No, they say, go to this place. It was like ding, 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 like 4 hours. Oh, God.
Wow.
It was like a crazy month. So here's the thing. I'm glad it happened there because that island is like a beautiful island with this peace. And it's called, considered a blue zone. It's called, the island is called Ikaria. And they say it's where people go and they forget to die. It's a beautiful, like peaceful, and this slow living. So it really helped like lower my freaking. I was up on a mountain, breeze, and it just helped me calm down because I had so much shit to do that anywhere else it would have been crazy. So I
see
ended
what
up,
you mean. Like you're not like in some high stressed ass city where you're already stressed. I get you.
Yeah. I mean, it's chill. I took naps. I ate good. I slept good. I hung out with my relatives good. I walked. I went up and down the mountains finding
tried to enjoy it.
I found I refound like these paths that were built like 100, 200 years ago by the, like old paths that were forgotten.
Cool. That but nobody walked down, yeah.
Yeah, nobody, because everyone's got scooters and cars and stuff. But I was like crazy, like finding these paths.
Exploring and shit.
Yeah. So it was just crazy.
How's that for a metaphor, though?
What?
Exploring paths that no one else wants to take, dude.
Yeah.
Paths people forget.
Yeah. And what was beautiful is like I found out my mom was like, she's like so well known on the islands. She was like refused people rides. She was walking up and down the mountain because her village is up on the mountain. It takes about 2 hours to get down to the beach. So she'd be walking up and down this thing, up the roads and stuff. She's like, no, I didn't need a ride. So she was legendary. She would walk to the other side of the island just for fun, just to mess with people.
Damn.
So
getting exercise.
Yeah, and everywhere I went, people knew my mom. That's pretty amazing. And they know me. Yeah, so they knew me by, I'm Lemon's son. My mom's name is Lemonia, which means lemon tree. So we called her Lemon. So everybody knew Lemon. She was 84.
Damn. So what did you take from the journey most? Like, what was the biggest lesson?
Biggest lesson is the biggest lesson is like, things happen, and when they do, it's best that you're at least somewhat physically capable. Meaning, if I I don't smoke, I don't drink, right? So at least I had that going for me because it was so stressful. Literally, I felt like my heart was going to explode. There's so much emotion and stress. I mean, like my mother dies. We bury my mother. My brother has a freaking tragic fall and cracks his head open. Like they had to remove part of his brain. His skull. It's like crazy. Like coma. Like there's a scale from
how is he now? We didn't even talk about that.
Oh, he's okay now. He's up. He's talking. He's talking kind of crazy because,
the way you said that.
but that's normal. Like,
He's always been him. Always been him.
Like when you get your head scrambled like that, your mind's not, your thoughts are not lined up. Like Houston, I asked him, I said, "How'd you get here? Do you remember?" I was like, "Oh yeah, man. They was like, they came to our house. We were abducted. There were AK-47s. They held mom hostage." I mean, he was telling me this fantastical story about how it happened. Oh yeah, and I fell down playing basketball. I'm like, okay, okay. And I talked to a doctor friend. He's like, "That's normal. Just play along. It's going to go away eventually."
Whoa. That is interesting, though.
So
you said removed part of the brain.
The skull. I'm sorry.
Okay, got you.
They moved part of the skull because there's so much pressure inside the blood in there.
Yikes.
They have to relieve the pressure.
Make a hole or something?
Dude, they removed part of the skull, bro. They not just a hole. They just, like Terminator, bro. They, I don't know.
Like an egg. Like an egg.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. So, so it was the most interesting month of my life. But here's the good part. Mm-hmm. I'm super grateful for it happened. I wouldn't do it again, but like everything worked out. Like everything worked out. Like every day,
damn,
I was meeting the right people. I was connecting with the right people. I was things that like in doing business in Greece is like it's crazy. Like all the bureaucracy, blah blah blah. But somehow, even with my not so good Greek, I managed to find the right people to get the things that I needed to do. There was a lot of paperwork and this and that.
Do you think it was just your circumstance, or how do you think you just ran into the right people?
I think I was, let's use the word blessed. Like I was taken care of by the universe. Like, hey, Costas is having a hard time. Let's take care of him because, he can't take much more of this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, bro, you were just talking about how like your heart wanted to explode, so that does make you wonder on a universal level, like, yo, send him some help real quick.
Yeah, I need some help.
Struggling.
Yeah, dude. I was struggling, but it wasn't like it was effortless. Like, yes, it was the crazy hard journey, but it seemed like effortless. Like there was days where I'm like walking around and I'd meet these people and have an amazing conversation. Then I'd go along and meet this other couple and have a great conversation. I'd meet another like doom, like constantly like.
Was any of it networking? Like, did you make some connects long term?
I actually did. Like, I met this lady, English lady, married an American guy who's living in Spain. She's a marketing lady, and she actually when I came back, I hired her to help me with my marketing. So that was awesome.
That's smart. That's awesome. That is cool. I was hoping that's what I wanted. I wanted you to tell me something like that. So, yeah, even that's not even really you. That's really the universe lining shit up.
Absolutely, it was like crazy how everything lined up, like preposterous how everything, like literally every day things lined up,
bro,
like for a month.
Before you went, I remember you were telling me you were like super down. You had a moment where you were depressed and stuff. What was that about?
I mean that's like, you hear your mom's dying. It's like,
so that was then? That was already? You had known?
Yeah, it was the month before I left. I couldn't meet because I sent you a message. I said, yeah. Because I was trying to wrap my head around that, but I was also trying to figure out how to get to Greece after 40 years of being away.
Damn.
And, get a computer and figure out how to run my business, how to, things had to line up. Like, I had to leave. I got work to do. So I got to go in this foreign land, and I don't know what's going on,
What was the most motivating aspect? I know you came back with something.
So the mission was to put mom to rest. That was the mission. Like,
no matter what it took, I got you.
Like that was it. That was the mission. Like I was literally at the airport on the way there, and I felt like I was gonna fucking die. I was having a hard time. Like there's so much like stress, like emotional that was happening to me. Like I'm like, I don't want to die. My mission is if I could just put mom to rest and not die. That was it. Like I want to come back home. And like, so that was like
there was a lot of unknown, huh? In that aspect of where am I going? No clue. Wherever shit leads me.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to prison 40 years. Now I'm an adult having to like communicate and make things happen. I have to go to this office. I got to
that
pull
is
this.
weird.
Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like, how's that even possible?
but you did it.
My Greek was good enough so I could communicate. I've only had like a 6th grade education, and the only Greek I spoke was like my mom speaking to me in Greek and me speaking back to her in English. That's it. So somehow all the Greek came back to me. I was able to understand fully. Now the big words, the doctors and things like that, to like, look it up and say, hey, can you speak English? Because I don't understand what you're saying right now. So it was a preposterous trip, but it was life changing, because it's like, now I want to go back. Now it's like, what's life about? Are we just grinding for the sake of grinding? What is important? What's important is family. What's important is connecting with people. Slowing down. They have this term on the island, siga siga, which means slow, slow, and that's sort of the attitude that they have. It's like, dude, just siga siga, slow down, man, slow down. So it was a good lesson for me because I've been running for freaking 30 years, grinding, right? And all of a sudden, I can't grind anymore because I'm in this place where there's like, I have to like go to people's houses to get Wi-Fi.
I was about to say, was your family like tripping? You're off the grid the whole time?
Yeah, they haven't seen me in 40 years,
Yeah, but the family here at home too.
Oh yeah, they were good. I mean, so what happened that week that I left? My wife and the kids had planned a trip to California to see her parents. So her dad took care of them. He fed them. He's put them up. So I wasn't worried about them, because it just happened to be that same week that they went to California.
Damn. So you just had to go on this, like, forced to go on a little spiritual journey, unexpected. That's insane.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it spiritual, but yeah, there's some spiritual shit happening. You know what I mean?
Then what would you call it? What's the deeper aspect?
It's
if that's just a detail,
it's like sometimes you have to. Sometimes an event happens that you're not prepared for, and you do your best. Here's what's interesting. So I'm a big part of this group called Warrior Week. It's a 2-year coaching program.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest programs I ever did. That weekend I was graduating after 2 years. So out of 12 guys who started this thing in my class, only 2 of us left, remained. So it's hard. A lot of people quit. So it's almost like I graduated. I did the work, right? And so this was my assignment. Like, okay, so you graduated from Warrior Week. You did your thing. Now here's your first assignment. Go bury your mom. Like, that was a big deal. So it was like all the training, all the training and stuff that I did, all the boring shit that I did the past 2 years, helped prepared me to get shit done, to get this, assignments, not
for the for like a transition or chapter that was coming.
Yeah, this was my mission. Like, you've graduated from this program. Now here's your mission.
What are you going to do about it? What it entails, or is that some top secret stuff?
Oh no, I mean it's not top secret. It's basically
raking leaves. What are you
doing?
No.
It's like, here's simple stuff like tell the truth, stop lying, do the shit you said you're gonna do. Take care of your brother. Details matter. Do the work. Don't be lazy. Fuck. It's not nothing secret. It's just boring stuff done over and over again. But there's lessons in that. There's because if you can't take care of the boring stuff, you're not going to take care of the big stuff. So
interesting.
It's the small stuff done in secret, meaning the stuff that nobody cares about. You know what I mean?
That is so true. Yeah, everything happened for me right now or in my life is because of what you just said. Just throwing it out there. You never know.
Yeah.
Just trying stuff.
What do you do when no one's looking? That's integrity, right? So having the integrity to do the things you said you're going to do for 2 years, you get this. I got this diploma, this thing that it's still rolled up. But then it's like let's see what you can do. Like, are you ready to do this? So I was ready. Like, this prepared me for this Black Swan event.
Damn.
And I completed my mission. I got a little side mission with my brother. He's still at the hospital there.
That's crazy, dude. That's just another insane.
But wait, there's more.
What?
Just when you thought it was safe to go back home.
Was that one even? How did that even play into that emotion? You're already like, look, I'm going through it. I'll deal with you later. What was that about?
I mean,
how does that affect the mission?
It's just an added bonus. You just got to deal with it as well. That's part of the
side quest.
That's how life is. Life doesn't look
pretty
at
serious you. Side quest though.
I mean, yeah, life is like that. It doesn't respect you. It says, okay, you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this.
That's a good ass point. Like, you talk about trying to expect multiple tragedies. It's a good point, happens. Dude. Yeah. I'm proof.
Yeah. So, like, what do you do when the shit hits the fan? No, that's really what's the question. What are you going to do?
I was just going to say, how's future outlook in terms of business and stuff? Are you a little more inspired now?
Yeah, dude, I'm full on with this. So I got in my head that, okay, I like Breaking Bad. So I created this whole persona, called Breaking Brand. So I'm communicating what I do as a brand expert through the Heisenberg, filter, meaning I'm the Heisenberg of branding. And so everything I do now, it's all about Heisenberg, and it's all branded like
Hell yeah.
Breaking Bread.
That's badass.
So I'm just
that ties into my guest Barry Labov. You're differentiating yourself.
Yeah.
That's niching down too. That's cool. I'm sure you can play on that concept a lot.
Totally. There's so much. And the funny thing is that I'm not like, people are like, oh, you got to know your market, blah, blah, blah. And here's the truth. I don't care. I don't care about my market. I'm doing my thing. And if you want to join me, great.
I feel that one. That's funny. I knew from your face you didn't like that.
Heisenberg doesn't care about the market. The market comes to him.
That's it. Bro, that's it right there. I like that one. That's a creator's mindset for sure. For sure, dude. Yeah, and then especially when you're talking about integrity and stuff, it's like money can't really sway you if you know what you want to do.
At the end of the day, dude, I just want to have fun. This to me is a fun project. I did it with the pen guy with an art car. I covered my car in 10,000 pens, so I was the pen guy. So I enveloped this whole project around a kind of brand, the pen guy, so people would know who I was. So I have experience doing that. So I call it immersion branding, full immersion branding. So it's what happens when you go to Disneyland or places like that. You fully immersed in the whole storyline. So if you go down a Star Wars, ride, it's all about the Star Wars all the time. Right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm basically communicating what I want to do with my business, but it's like you're going through the tunnel of Breaking Bad. Now, I'm not going to be the bad guy like Walter. There's a good side to me. So
no, I don't want to lose my thought, but I guess I'll talk about it to you off air. We'll just have some other stuff we should talk about real quick when we end this. Anything you want to add just before? Any inspiring thoughts before anyone? We're about to jump into your full episode. Do you remember anything from it?
I hope it was good.
It's pretty funny. We talk about a lot of stuff.
I don't know, man. I came back kind of a different person, essentially the same, but having gone through a process or a journey. It's a rough ride, but I passed the mission. So that feels good. I did what I said I was going to set out to do. So that's going to help me with other things. So when you do hard things in life, it always helps you do other hard things in the future. So don't avoid hard things because it's really good for you. It's good for you. It's really good for you. It doesn't feel good at the moment, but it's actually good for you in the long run. So if you have a long view of life, then whatever happens to you, it's really like it's a gift. It's a gift.
Nice.
So
All right then. Yeah, let's all right, we're jumping into the full episode. You ready for it? That's crazy.
Oh my! So how did you end up? Are you from there, or where did you come from?
Such a crazy story. I'm just gonna summarize it. Met a girl online and then like packed all my stuff into 2 bags and sold my car and moved across the nation. It's pretty much what happened. Yeah, without meeting her, never met her. It was worth it though. Like I learned so much.
Wow. So yeah. So anyways, after 3 years ago, I decided to leave California as fast as possible, and then I moved to Florida. I like the whole COVID thing got weird, and so California got weird, and a lot of lockdowns, a lot of got weird. So we wanted a little bit more freedom. So we went to the Wild East, Florida, which is it's a crazy state, and I say that with all due respect and all loving way, because it's crazy down here. It's like
for sure.
I mean, the traffic is crazy.
I just thought there's water everywhere. That's what I imagine.
There isn't. Meaning, like, okay, I mean, I'm by the coast. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. There's waterways all over the place, and then there's, you go west, and there's like at some point, like the city or the housing ends, and there's like marshlands and stuff. So there's a lot of waterways, a lot of so people put around their boats and stuff. A lot of houses have docks, so you can have your boat, and eventually you can go out to the water. So but there's no gators out close to the ocean, but there's more gators sort of inland. So that's
hell
what I
no.
found out. I thought it'd be gators everywhere, but I haven't
hell no. Hey, I had to confess my love story. You got anything crazy like that before I go into your childhood? Because it might tie in.
You talk about a love story, like how my wife met?
Yeah, because I just had to give you like that. Yeah, I gave you that crazy one, so I'm like, give me something crazy.
Okay, so I met my wife at church, and I was helping out with junior high kids. I was like one of the counselors, and she was helping out with the high school kids. And she was dating somebody else at the time. And one night I was like, I want her, like all of a sudden this like, I had this epiphany, like I wanted her to be my wife, like that. It's just like, I want her to be my wife. And within a year, she was my wife. So she had to bring
provocative image did she post online that had you thinking?
Dude, okay. I don't want to get churchy, but like we're at a conference, and I'm looking at her, and it was like weird. It almost looked like she had a light on her, and she was glowing. And to me, she seemed like the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in my life. And at that moment, I'm like, I want her to be my wife. And it was like
weird.
I mean, I prayed. I'm like, God, I want her to be my wife. I know,
but that's crazy that
no apps
that
back.
You said
we didn't have apps back then.
Damn.
No apps.
Good story. That's good shit. So background, you're a graphic designer, but I want to get into like how you became creative. How did you know you were creative? Like tell me about your childhood a little bit.
Oh my gosh. So creative pursuits. So I remember in 3rd grade I did this painting. We're doing like arts and crafts, and I did this painting called Omelets, and I literally remember like all the kids were doing like horses and all that stuff. So mine was an abstract painting, and I did like this, and I still have this painting to this day. It was
badass.
So like I had this like it was like a sea of green, and I put these swirls of color, and they're omelets, and with 3 red dots all over, and that was like my first abstract piece, and it was like it was very abstract and very like intuitive. Like I was just like that's what I felt like doing.
Was it kind of symmetrical at all? Any patterns or anything?
It's like, like what was green background with red dots, like kind of swirls of color, and then sea at the bottom.
Interesting.
That was like an abstract painting, and my grandfather bought it, and he had it in his house for many, many years, and I still have it. I still have it in my possession.
Damn.
So that was my first sort of art thing. And actually, I remember we're doing this art in 5th grade, and I had this like shapes, like this green thing with all these shapes, and I built a whole like space station just using the shapes, triangles and squares and all this stuff, like on this like 2 sheets of paper. So it's like long, and it was like kind of a weird. Nobody thought about it, but to me, that was like the first like graphic design thing because it's very technical. So my dad's an engineer, electrical engineer. My mom's like grew up on the farm. So like I have like creative and like technical side of me. I had to do math in high school, like calculus and stuff. So graphic design ended up being like the best of both worlds. It's creative and it's analytical at the same time.
That's true.
I was supposed to do like I was supposed to do computer science when I went to college, and I just started taking art classes, and then I took this 3D art class, and I was like 3:00 in the morning doing this project. I'm like, I love this stuff, and then just kept taking art classes. Next thing I know, I'm like, I got to pay the bills, so I went with graphic design.
This sounds ridiculous, but is there such thing as gatekeeping in the graphic design world?
Gatekeeping. Yes, maybe. I mean, like, okay, so is there a particular aspect of graphic design that you think is being gatekept?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like that. Yeah, in general.
Like what specifically do you think is being gatekept?
No, maybe like for newcomers being able to get clients, or maybe even like maybe tools that aren't accessible to like the average person, expensive kind of thing.
No, bro. Nowadays, I mean, back in the day, like, okay, so I've been doing this stuff for 30 years. Back then, it was like, I started with a freaking Mac, like a boxy Mac, and then the next one up was a Quadra, which is like, but then you had to actually buy the software, and it was expensive. Like, it was expensive back then to buy the software, but nowadays, you get a subscription. Like everybody has access to it, like, and there's so much information out there. Like right now, there's no reason why anybody can't be creative and do this because all the information is on YouTube. Like
I use Adobe Express personally.
Yeah. I mean, I use that, and then there's all these other tools that come out. So there is no reason. There's no excuse. I think gatekeeping is like it's basically a story that you're telling yourself to prevent you from doing stuff. Because, dude, there's nothing I can't do. Like I'm doing this podcast, and I just got off a podcast. So I'm learning about video editing. I'm learning about lighting. I mean, this is the first time I've used these lights. Like I've used these lights because I went on YouTube and figured out how to use lights and bought some lights on Amazon. Boom, boom, boom. Put them up. So it's actually the best time to be doing creative stuff. I know there's AI and all that stuff, but it's actually the most. There's so much access. You got the freaking internet. You can go on there as long as you have internet access. You can get access to all the tools that you want. So I don't know, man.
What about those first moments that you've actually discovered that you had abilities and talents, like besides being purchased from your grandfather, of course?
So creatively. I mean, I
had to be a pivotal moment.
I think that painting was kind of a pivotal. Like when I look back,
really?
it seemed very pivotal to me in third grade to do this like weird abstract painting. I've always been like creative. I mean, I got into music. When I was a kid, I was living in Greece. I wanted to play trumpet, so that was like I wanted to play trumpet, dude. And so there was no opportunity for me in Greece to do that. But when I came to America, what kept me out of trouble? Like I got picked on a lot, so what kept me out of trouble is like discovering, like, dude, I could take band class, 8th grade. What? So I took trumpet and I played that every freaking day, and they kept me out of the yard, so I wasn't getting picked on. So that was like, I'm a little ADHD, so like I played every day. So like I know, again, looking back, I knew that music was my thing. I ended up playing drums for 25, 30 years, whatever.
Damn, reading music is hard though.
I mean, it is and it isn't. It's just anything else. You start with basic stuff. You start with Mary had a little lamp. Boom, boom, boom. And then you just build up. Like anything. Do you play any instruments?
Yeah, I did percussion, and I guess you could say, it's kind of reading when you get into like mallets and xylophones and stuff. Yeah,
percussion. I got busted by there was a girl in my high school, and I called her a drummer. She's like, I'm not a drummer, I'm a percussionist. So I did not call a percussionist a drummer. Losers.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I think I learned more from like beatboxing or something for rhythm than anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so, I mean, you don't really have to read music. I mean, reading music is a whole thing. Everybody's got a different type of genius, I think. I think music and art was my genius, creative pursuit. So like I've gotten into, like, I taught myself how to weld. So I welded for 7 years, and I actually got a job welding. Literally, I woke up one day and I rolled over in my bed and I started like, I wonder if there's any creative welding jobs. And I started looking on Facebook and I found one. I emailed them, and within like a week I had that job, and I was welding like bottoms for like these beautiful like live edge tables. So they need like big honking, metal bases, different. So I got a job working as a welder for 6 months.
Damn.
Just for fun. Just for
interesting.
Fun.
Weird.
So
a lot of different creative aspects.
I grew up watching my dad do different things in life. So he was always doing some sort of project. So I grew up seeing my dad do different things. So it's just like, it seems normal to be like, dude, I'm interested in that. And I get into that. Right now I live in Florida in an apartment. I don't have a workspace. So what got my attention recently is doing the podcast. So I'm like, because I love talking. I can get along with anybody, anytime, anywhere in the world. So, my kids make fun of me because I'm in the grocery store and I start talking to people. Like, I don't care who you are, race, nothing. It doesn't matter. I'm like, I'll find something. We'll start joking about something that I'm cracking them up. So,
bro, what is your personality type? That's not an introverted personality type. What is that?
Well, okay, so I need my quiet time. So I have a routine in the morning where I have my coffee and I journal. I journal like crazy. I've been journaling for the last 34 years, like solid. So that is, I do get recharged by being by myself. If I prefer the company of my own self. So I don't need to be around people. But when I'm around people, when I'm not out in the wild, I enjoy connecting with people. I actually like people. Most people are likable. There's always something you can find to like about something, about somebody. So if you can find that, and then you can start talking about that. Like, for instance, if you're in a line with somebody, you have a common connection because you're in the line, you're stuck, and the person in front of you is taking their time trying to find their coupons, right? So all of a sudden you have a connection that you can talk about. So that's how I sort of operate in sort of like, it's kind of like improv, like where you have to just make stuff up as you go. I've done that too.
Definitely. Oh, dang. That's good. That's good. I would love to see that, actually. That's good.
So life is improv. Life is about like in the moment. Like we have this saying in like coaching group, be here now. So when you're in the present moment, you're able to sort of connect with the things around you, connect with the people around you. So forget about the past, forget about the future, but in the moment, you have this opportunity to, you see something and you can connect with somebody, and it's really beautiful. Like, so anyways, that's
my problem is like, I feel like I'm too much of an empath to do that. Like feeling people's emotions like inadvertently, unconsciously too quickly. And I'm like, I start thinking,
Well, it's actually, it's a good thing to be an empath. Is now what do you do with it? Do you take that on and let it become like mess you up? Because there's some crazy stuff out there that you feel. Like I feel things, right? But it's really a way for you to connect with that other person. You don't have to take it on, but it's a door that allows you to. It's actually a gift. It's a gift that allows you to see the.
Let me tell you how bad it is. I'll tell you how bad it is. Like I can watch movies and literally feel the character's feeling, and I hate that.
Wow.
Yeah, like even like the moments before something bad happens, I'm like, oh no, like it's a type where I don't want to look.
So you see things coming, so you can actually that's going to go badly for them.
Yeah.
But that's a superpower, bro. That is. Because
I guess, but you know why that power sucks though? Because nobody wants to hear the person that's heeding warnings all the time.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you become pretty annoying. Nobody likes that guy. Trust me, nobody likes that guy. Dude, there he goes again. Okay, I mean, so it's now. So what do you do with that power? So like, do you just blab all the time? Like there you go. So it's learning how when to say something, when to hold back. Because not everyone's going to be open to your insights. Like most people think that you're a freak. So I mean, I'm sorry, you're a freak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know? How did improv go for you? What was that like?
Again, it was like the way I approached things is like, hey, that looks like fun. I think I want to try that. So I ended up like, okay, so it came about because I woke up one day and I'm going to back up. I went to the library one day and I found a book about people that decorate their cars. I'm like, dude, I got to do that. Right?
What? You just find a topic and dive in, huh?
I just happened to pull this book out, and it was like about people that art cars. And I read this book for 2 weeks. I'm like, this is an incredible book. I put it back, and I'm like, and then 2 years later, I woke up one day and I did pens. I glued pens to my Mercedes. Just like, okay, that's what I'm doing. But it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
I found 20 pens around the house, and I stuck them on there. And then I ended up, collecting, putting 10,000 pens on my Mercedes. Ended up collecting about 750,000 pens over the next 15 years from all over the world. So what that I know. So what that created is me. I know, dude. But wait, there's more. Can we do a second episode? I mean, I'm open, bro. If this takes too long, I'm open for a second episode.
No, go for it, dude. I love it.
And everything goes dark. Like, okay, this guy just broke the internet. We gotta come back to him. But anyway, so what happened is that I ended up I went to schools, I went to churches, I went to like old people's homes. So I talked about the car. I went to share the car. So inadvertently, I ended up doing some improv. I was up on stage talking about the car.
That's hilarious. You forced yourself. I like it. You had no choice.
It was like, that's what we're doing. Yeah. I'm talking to people. I wanted to talk to as many people as I could. The car ended up on
marketing,
National Geographic, branding, marketing.
It wasn't your intent though, right?
Exactly. It turned into a branding project.
Wow.
Like, okay, I got to call myself the pen guy.
Let's go. Break it down. Let's go back. Let's break it down. How did you learn about branding? How did you learn?
I learned
because everybody confuses them, right? Everybody confuses them.
Yes. Right. A logo isn't branding. A branding is it's the look and feel of everything that you. So it's your website, it's your messaging, it's everything. The logo is just a part of it. The way you present. Like,
damn.
Pick a brand. Like Coca-Cola is a brand. Nike is a brand. Like, they have the whole thing going. It's a feeling. Like, it's not about. They don't sell shoes. They sell just do it. It's like, what is that? when you hear "just do it," the feeling happens, and you there's an excitement. You're part of the community. So there's a thing that is brand. I could be wrong, but that's what I think.
Yeah, be impulsive for sure. Don't think about it. Do it.
So yeah, branding is so I created this inadvertently. I created the brand called Pen Guy because when I see something, I want to know what is that. What is that? What's that guy like? A car driving down a street covered in pens. I didn't want people to have a question like, what is that? So
that's the pen guy. Made it simple.
So yeah, that's the pen guy. So in my town, Santa Rosa, like, I was known as the pen guy. Like, everybody knew me. Like, I drove this car. I drove this car around like 15 years straight, like, everywhere, to school, to the grocery store, to the gas station. Just my daily driver.
Wow. Do you still have it?
No. I knew the project was over when it popped into neutral, rolled down the hill, and crashed into a tree. And I was like, okay, that's it. It's over. Thanks. Bye.
Damn.
It totaled itself. So actually,
you don't get attached to shit like that?
No, no. It had its purpose for a period of time. When it crashed into the tree, it was like, okay, this project is over. It was like the sign. It was literally like a sign to me, like, and I was kind of getting over it. I was like, I'm tired of, because what I would do, I would cover the car in pens. A couple of years later, all the pens would totally get mangled up with the sun. So I would take a chisel, scrape everything off, and then with the razor, and take all the silicone off, all the way down to the metal, to the car, and then I start over again. So you do that 2-3 times, it gets kind of old.
Tedious.
That's a lot of work. Yeah. But
could you make a lot of money doing that custom if you really wanted to? Never. No. Not a market. No market.
The way I made money off that is meeting people. So I ended up meeting some great clients who were in the art car community, and they hired me to do design, brand, site stuff. So that's how I got. It wasn't
talk about
of that, but
no. I was going to say the medium of art on cars, right? Because that's unorthodox, and I feel like you can't just assume artists can draw on anything. Is that a fair assumption?
Say that again.
Like you shouldn't assume an artist would be able to draw on anything. Like if you're a good on canvas, I'm surprised that you can just draw on a car. Is it all translate the same is what I'm trying to get at?
Well, I mean, every medium has its own challenges. So canvas has a process. You got to prep it and do this thing. Gluing things to a car, or so you have the canvas of the car, okay? And so what you do with it depends. Like if you're going to glue stuff to it, or you're going to paint it. So if you're going to paint it, you have to prep the surface in a certain way and use certain paint. So this is a process. You can use spray can, or you can use like different quality paints. It's going to stick and last. So so gluing stuff to your car, you got different. I learned a lot about gluing stuff to my car because different pens react differently to the glue. Like I use silicone clear silicone. Yeah, so I
just
put
like
a bead of silicone and then stick it to the car, and it glues. But different types of pens stick to silicone differently. Like
so it's the material.
So after a while, I wouldn't use certain pens because I knew they were going to rip off or they would come off and they kind of like bend up. So it's a weird science project. You learn how like certain pens, like those semi-translucent pens you get at the bank, like they turn to powder after a year or 6 months because the UV rays totally destroys them. Or red fades quickly.
I think my question came up because I was thinking like I'd be scared to just be like, hey, here's a car to draw on, here's a wall to paint all of a sudden. Even though I do paint and I've just typically given away my art, like I don't really sell it, just give it to friends and gift it, to the point where like I want it back, you know what I mean? Like it's that good in my opinion. Like I love it. I get so attached to it. Do you ever feel like that?
I've given a bunch of paintings away. Why do you give your now? Let me ask you a question. What prompted you to give your art away? Why do you give your art away and not sell it?
I just have a lot of it, so I'll be like, which one's your favorite, and then I'll write it, my name, sign it, and then gift it. I like gifting something that's like intangible, you can't get anywhere else. So I don't know.
So once you give it away, why do you want it back? What's going on there?
Because sometimes I'll give away like pieces I really love, and I'm like, it's fine. Like, and then you don't remember you made it until you see him again.
He's recycling, so like, now's not a good time to recycle.
It's all good.
So anyways, yeah, I've given art away, and I mean, you have to let it go. I mean, I have some really cool art that I've given, like big giant 3x3 paintings that I did in college, and I gave them away. And my consolation is that it's someone has it, someone's enjoying it. Like that's awesome. So I try not
I feel
to give
that
too much away. I don't know.
No, I feel that. I think that's why I'm kind of in this interview with you too, because I feel like it's a super hard profession to monetize on. So are you super against AI art right now? How do you feel about it?
I'm not. And here's why. AI is a tool, right? So you still have to prompt it. You still have to put in some information. It's not. It does an amazing job. Like I use a Midjourney a lot, and that's to help me generate ideas. It's a great way to generate ideas. I use ChatGPT to create content and actually process ideas. So sometimes I have ideas about things, and I want to have an interaction with GPT. So there's actually a website called FlowGPT, which is actually allows you to create prompts, and then you can interact with those prompts. There's a lot of like adult stuff on there, but I created some prompts that are like.
What do you mean though? Like, how does it work?
So basically, you create a prompt. Okay, so I created a prompt that's like I go in there and I have a business problem of the week. So Elon Musk comes, what's your business problem? My business problem is this. And then the prompt goes, okay, so based on your business problem, I'm going to assemble 3 experts in that field. And then you're going to have a conversation with them. They're going to give their answers. This whole thing I've created. So they give 3, each of them gives an answer. They rate each other. And then they get together, they talk about their answer, give me the final answer that's best of all.
Wow.
And that's a GPT prompt that I created.
And you just pick the personalities of whoever you want to talk to, right?
the prompt is based on the problem. Say I have I want to create a new workout program for myself. I want to lift weights, right? So then it'll assemble 3 people in that arena. And then say you want to pick some of your favorite, like say you have a favorite, like you want to have Arnold give you advice about weight training. You can have an Arnold Schwarzenegger, you can have Mark Ripito, and some other guy. And they're all giving you advice about how to get stronger in the next 6 weeks or next month. Or maybe you have some questions about like food, nutrition. So then the nutrition person comes on. So you can, it gives you 3 people. It's weird. So
like,
that's.
It's so nuts though, because then you're like, if this person was here, how would they train me, or how would they coach me in a sense?
Exactly. So you basically create the prompt, so it's like it acts as if it's that person giving you advice. Now, I mean, again, with a grain of salt, but it's very interesting because you can actually create all kinds of interesting answers based on what these people would say to you in that situation.
I'm about to go into the mysticism real quick. I don't know if you're into that.
Let's go, bro.
Are you familiar with the I Ching?
Not very, but I know of it.
So Chinese divination, you flip 3 coins 3 times, and then you make some lines, and then you go find your hexagrams, and it correlates. Does that sound familiar a little bit? You get it? Get the gist of it?
No idea. So I've seen it on movies.
Basically, it's one of those things where if you wanted to treat it like a zodiac, you can of course relate it to anything, right? It's general enough. But kings have used this throughout time, right? Like everyone from Marcus Aurelius to Chinese emperors, all these people have consulted with it to make like heavy decisions on their life path and stuff. One of the things I learned was using AI was I was like, can you simulate the coin flips? And is it the same thing? And it basically told me, because everything's up to interpretation anyway, that yes, it's all the same. So I made a GPT that's an I Ching, that it's like an oracle, right? Like imagine a magic 8 ball. You're just always asking questions. But I'll do readings for my friends too. And it's like, think about it though. It's like the AI tarot. Like it's kind of ridiculous. Sounds ridiculous. I get it too.
Did you create this prompt?
Yeah.
It's
in the GPT store.
Did you put? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, I got a few in there too.
Nice. Yeah, it's called I Ching and Oracle.
I did one that was like, I did one that's called Solomon's Wisdom. I basically said, it's based on the Bible. Basically, you do like a.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I have this problem. I need a devotional on to say, hey, I'm struggling to make more money, or whatever. Like I'm struggling with faith, or whatever. So it gives you the verse. It gives you like the 3 parts of it. Like a takeaway and like a prayer. Like it does a whole thing. I created so it does a whole thing. So I can throw in a Bible verse, and it gives me a whole devotional with that. So yeah,
since we're on this. No, go for it. Continue. We're on this topic. Keep going. I'm gonna tell you mine.
I even did one that's based on Abraham Hicks.
The author?
She's like a new age. Yeah, she's a new age lady. She's on YouTube. She's kind of a strange duck, but she's a like law of attraction lady. And I did one like that's based on her. So you basically have an interaction with her. I have one that's I have a lot of ones. Yeah. Tell me yours.
Yeah. I made one for YouTube Shorts where I'm like, give me a compelling description, give me a couple words to put on the screen, give me the video tags, the hashtags based on all the conversation. And then it just like to quicken the uploads. But that's more of a tool. I made one for like herbal remedies, like for like a doctor diagnosis. Like it's like, here's what you should, here's what it might be. Here's what you should use, and go check it out.
I made one for essential oils.
Oh, like recommendations?
Yeah. Like, hey, what is lavender used for? Boom. I have this problem. What are the essential oils that you could use on this? So
I know quite a bit about that off the top.
Essential oil?
Yeah, that's my flex, is how much I know about that off the top.
Okay.
Like nobody knows that eucalyptus is good for healing wounds, like flesh wounds. It's an interesting one. Right.
My mom, my Greek mother, she's an herbalist. So she She makes her own St. John's wort.
Oh,
She
snap.
healed my uncle had a mule that was suffering from asthma, and all the doctors, the horse doctor, antibiotics, blah blah blah, couldn't help it. So she figured out that the urine it was breathing the fumes of the urine, and it was getting asthma. So she healed the mule with herbs, so that's herbs.
Nice. That's pretty sick.
Dude, if you go to my mom's house, there's nothing in cans or boxes. It's all like in bags. Oh, it's like just green things, bags of green stuff like everywhere. She would go up. She's from one of the islands, so every summer she'd go there. She'd go on the mountain, harvest wild oregano, and that stuff's like powerful stuff.
Yeah, right? Hell yeah.
And put it in pillowcases and bring it to America through the airport.
Damn.
Bags of pillowcases filled with dried green stuff.
Damn, that's crazy.
So yeah, that's my mom.
Man, you think that's tough, but the extract is way stronger too, right? Like if you're really into, that's nuts. Yeah. People don't. That's underrated, dude.
There's a place kind of like around West County from Santa Rosa, Emerald Forest or something like that. There's a place where they do herbals. They teach you how to do tinctures and how to like extract oils from herbs and stuff. There's a whole like training. It's kind of hidden, but they have like the equipment and stuff. And anyways.
No, I do remember places like that where they have like super loose leaf of everything, of every type of herb. Super rare though. It's very California. Let's see. Can you discuss like a time when a shift in the market trends significantly influenced your branding strategy?
Oh my God, dude.
I know it's a real specific question.
Well, I mean, 2018 was rough, when everything went down the hill. There was not a lot of work. I mean, it seems like everything dried up. When they did the lockdowns in California during COVID, I mean, that was huge. I mean, I shut down my business because I had the sense that nobody's going to be needing my services. And that week, I got.
Was it the right move? By the way,
yes, it was the right move. Yeah, it's just intuitively it felt. So what I did is I shut down my business, moved out of the office, and in that same week they were shutting things down. I got a job at Home Depot because I still wanted to be an essential worker by having a job. So I got a job at Home Depot so I can still make money. In that week, I literally, like, as they're about to close it down, I'm looking for a job. Like, it was like I knew the shutdown was not going to be good, so finding a job was going to be key, and finding a job at a place that was going to be open. I did it within a week. And
wow.
After that, I mean, that was like, so I was having to get up at 4:00 in the morning to be customer service at Home Depot. That was good.
Yeah, that's an ugly time. Luckily, no one's really up though, right?
Nobody's really up. But you know what? I had I was very grateful. So in terms of like the spiritual side of things, there was something about that I felt like right. And on my way to work every morning, I would be like I was expressing
protected in a sense. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was expressing gratitude to. I mean, I believe in God, so I was like, God, thank you for this opportunity. Everybody's not working, but I have work. And so I've always moved like that. Like, I've always had like intuitive like sense about doing something, and I get into it, and it seems, I don't always get it right.
Damn.
When I do, it seems like the right thing. Like moving to Florida was like that, or doing this podcast is like that. Starting my own podcast is like one of those things.
I feel that, dude, because I have a couple ideas that I really want to do, but I'm just like so strapped with like how much I'm doing at once, Like I know it would work, but it's just like, God damn, the amount of work it's going to take.
Well, are you the kind of guy who does a lot of different things?
Oh yeah, for sure. I have a lot of projects. Yeah. It's because a lot of it moves really slow, so I need a lot of long-term goals.
I mean, I can admit to myself that I'm a little ADHD, so that's how my brain works. I'm like constantly, like my brain's working.
Yeah.
And ideas. So, but the trick is, what do you actually do or move on to? And that's part of it. Like, that's the intuitive part. It's like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And if it feels right, for me, I do like if it feels joyful. Like I feel like, ooh, this is exciting. I really feel this, and so I get into it. And even though it's a lot of work, I'm sustained because it's something I'm supposed to do. Like it feels like an assignment that I'm supposed to do something. So the work doesn't seem like a lot. Like, dude, I worked all day. I did a podcast 2 hours. Before I got on you, 2 hours solid. 2 hours. Jumped on you, and like it doesn't seem like work because it's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Did you ever get in trouble for like art as a kid? Like, did you do graffiti or something dumb?
No, I used to doodle on my school papers, and I remember distinctly doodling. It was 7th grade. I was doodling on my English paper, and I got detention for it. My teacher gave me detention.
Super dick.
I know.
How rude.
And then what's funny is like years later, I had my portfolio in the car, and I was going to the client's office, and I saw her walking across the street. She didn't see me, but I lifted up my portfolio. I'm like, here, take that. I was like, because what turned into like, I was doodling all the time.
That's such a relatable story, dude. Like that's like the classic fucking like villain arc of like, I'll be back and I'll show you.
I'll show
like
you, lady.
Like my doodles. Thinking I'm wasting my time.
Because the class was boring, bro. Like I slept through in high school. I slept through history. I slept through geometry. I barely passed my classes. What got me through was band. Like I was into concert band, jazz band, marching band. That's what kept me. That's what was exciting for me. I liked psychology. That was a very interesting class. I like wood shop. I like making stuff. I love making stuff. I made some weird stuff with welding. I made a tall bike. I made a bendy bike. I made some weird trikes. I collected like 30 bikes, and I made like weird things. I made weird things, bro.
That kind of
Everybody
artist.
accused me. Yeah.
Different mediums.
Like the arc of my art is it has to be functional. Like if it can be visually appealing, but also has purpose, that is the best. Like
you give me David Chow vibes.
Thank you.
Like just from that right there, because I feel like most artists are stuck to one type of thing, right? Like one medium that they specialize in. So I'm all shook. Like you're like, ask me anything. I've done everything. It feels like,
Dude, I got you. You want to know about glue? I got you. Adhesive?
Okay, then what's the weirdest thing that you've made art with? Like what material comes to mind? Don't say a bunch of hair or something dumb. Please don't do it.
God, no. I have something I did in college, but I'm not going to talk about it.
What?
The people in my college, I just can't. I can't reveal it. It was ahead of its time. It freaked my parents out. It's the way I did the art.
What?
Let's just say it's the way I did the art was kind of controversial, and I had my own show, and people were freaking out and like, "Oh, you're that guy," And my parents were like, "I can't believe you did that," So that's all I'm going to say about that. So that was. I can say no more.
That's the most obscure, crazy story ever. It's like, I can't give it to you, but I'll tell you the craziest parts.
I can go around. I can dance around it. I can neither deny nor admit anything. You can neither deny nor confirm what I did.
So did you end up pulling it?
People that knew me back. Yeah, I did. I had the art,
But like you pulled it down, like got in
No. I had an art show for a week. In college, there's a space and you had your own art show. So I had that for a week. And my teachers were like, I don't know. And my parents were like, I don't know. So, but I didn't get in trouble, but I'm a kind of a shit stirrer. So
you went above and beyond.
I enjoy tweaking people. I mean, that's
a conversationalist piece. Yeah, you made me think. The kind of kid I was keeping the teacher like talking in the class, like not doing anything, like getting them in their personal stories and stuff.
Okay, you're kind of you're like a detective, like you're
like a mediator.
They call it social hacking. where you basically you get people talking and they reveal stuff about themselves that they don't really want to, but you get them to kind of become comfortable, and they're comfortable with you and they trust you, and all of a sudden you start pulling things out that they wouldn't normally tell.
Not inadvertently, but I'm sure I can guess where the conversation goes. Yeah,
dude, people tell me stuff like people trust me, which is I'm a trustworthy person. I can say that. Like,
but you're just like the most random people, right?
But people tell me weird stuff because like I engender trust in people. Like I'm genuinely like a trustworthy person. Like I don't do shit, even though I'm like mischievous sometimes, I'm not a bad person. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I can say that without being weird. Anyway, so people tell me stuff because I'm just like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? Next thing I know, they tell me like I was working at Costco. The lines, right? I was doing the 2% thing, trying to get people to sign up, and people tell me all kinds of stuff. Because I was trying to get them to sign up.
You know what it is? You know what it is? You ready for it?
Talk to me.
You got the Ray Romano friendly vibe.
Oh.
I tried to give you like a third person judgment, like a pass by judgment, and I think that's what it is. Like you just have a friendly face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was funny because I remember stuff like I had one guy come through and he was working for the State Department, and I got him to tell me all kinds of stuff about what he does and stuff, and it was really cool. Very interesting. I think if you're interested in people, they like that. Like, so they engenders trust in you. But anyways, he told me this whole story, and I locked it in my head. He came back around like months later, and I'm like, oh, you're the guy who blah blah blah, and I recounted this whole story. He's like, damn, bro, you should be in the business. Like he like almost hired, he almost recruited me right there because I had some mad skills with like memory. Like I can, like if you tell me stuff, dude, I'll remember. It kind of freaks people out.
Well, it's the shit you care about, You just care about a lot of stuff, I guess, passionately.
I care about people, and I find people interesting. That's kind of my thing. So if you find people interesting,
I do too, but more so the social behavior aspect of people,
Okay. Like, what do you mean? Like what they do, or how? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, like I don't like making generalizations, but I do notice like cultural differences in countries, like especially from using Twitter, dude. Man, it's different. It's big, like.
Yeah. Have you traveled?
But humor's a synonym that's like very common everywhere, right? Like everybody understands it.
It's a great superpower. So like growing up, interesting humor. Growing up, my mother would basically change neighborhoods between 0 and 6th grade. I moved to 5 different stores, 5 different neighborhoods. So it was always the new kid on the block, always getting picked on because the new kid gets picked on. You don't have any kind of. So a sense of humor, developed a sense of humor in order to protect myself, like a way to get out of trouble.
That explains why you're kind of social, don't you think? Because you're forced to kind of make friends, right?
Yeah, I don't want to get my ass kicked.
I feel that.
I have to get along with people. Like I got out of trouble. Like I came close to a couple of things, and it was like I made the dude laugh, and all of a sudden he was about to destroy me, him and his buddies in some parking lot, and I made a joke about myself or something, and I made him laugh, and it was like all of a sudden everything got diffused, and I was like, I got to live another day.
That's a good one. That's a good superpower. You're right.
Yeah, it's like, if I'm making you laugh, he can't hurt me.
Actually, that is the best defense, though. Literally, that's the best defense.
It's a great tool. It's like if you're laughing, it triggers a different part of your brain or your body. So if you ever try to be mad and laugh at the same time, it's nearly impossible. So if you can trigger that by self-deprecating humor, then it's like it's what rapport is all about. You're building rapport, and that's all it is. And so humor is a great way to do that because if you get somebody to laugh at you or with you or at you, it doesn't matter in that moment. And so that's why I enjoy people, because if I can make them laugh, to me that's just a beautiful expression of I'm on this earth, hurtling through space, paying bills, which is like super crazy to me. Yeah, we're hurling through space, we're paying bills. That's crazy, right? So if I can make somebody's life a little bit better in that moment. And I fulfill my purpose for being on this planet. It's like my dues for being on this
Can you put that on a shirt? Can you put that on a shirt?
Of course. Give me a
hurtling through space, paying bills. That's a good one. I like that one. And it's just like,
I'm gonna write that down.
And it's just like a bunch of receipt papers flying around the earth while it's in motion.
It's so ludicrous. Like, who signed up for this? Like, did you sign up for this? I'm like, hey, when you're like,
dude,
you're
there's
born,
the
you're
back.
like, yes,
there's the back of the shirt. The back of the shirt phrase. Who signed up for this? That's good shit.
Who signed up for this?
Good shit. For real though.
Shit done by the end of this week.
But here's another good point: is that a lot of good ideas come inadvertently. Don't you feel? Like, not when you're creatively trying to think about them. It's like when you're bullshitting. And it's the same for lyrics, dude. When you're writing songs and you're just like making fun of a melody, right, with some dumb words that you're not going to use. But now you got the melody from it. I can go work it.
When you're goofing off, that's when the good stuff happens. That's it, because here's what happens when you're in a childlike state. Think about kids. You throw kids in the room. You don't give them anything. They come up with stuff to do. Kids are very creative, so they create because they're in a childlike state. Because there's no rules, there's no hindrances, so they're free to do whatever it is they want. So when we're having a good time, we're not like there's no expectation. We're just having fun. That's the part where you start creating cool stuff. Like stuff comes up and it's fun. That's why improv to me is fun, because I get to create on the spot based on what I see. What's happening, and I get to sort of make shit up, and that's beautiful.
Which is why I don't go. That's why I don't go super by the script, right? Like, I go off like, well, leads me to another thought. Questions should really be for like keep it moving, last resort kind of thing and stuff.
Yeah. That's why I don't hardly prepare. I did a 2-hour thing with the guy. It's like we're just talk for 2 hours. I somehow found interesting things to talk about. So. If you could do that, if you can be just like your antenna has to be up, and as you're talking, things pop up, and you're like, "Ooh, that's interesting. Let's talk about that." So if you just keep doing that, then you'll never run out of stuff to talk about, ever.
This is a dumb question, and I'm purposely asking it.
Go for it.
Do you have projects that you can't talk about? Obviously, you can't talk about it, like NDA.
Oh, no.
So then, what was like the hardest one that you would say you've worked on, or like the most difficult? Maybe you don't have to give the name, or maybe why the client was so hard.
It was a long time ago. But it was like a crazy project. I worked for Ernst & Young, which is an accounting firm in the creative services part, and they had they go out and they pursue projects, or they make money by presenting ideas to companies. So Ernst & Young was presenting the big thing to Agilent, right? So all these guys were like presenting and so I had a week to prepare all this material. I literally worked 100 hours that week. I was those moments. One night I was underneath the desk, kind of like, how am I going to do this? Like, I was like shell shocked, dude. And I was in my 20s. I was like,
it's a strong word.
I was almost in a fetal position under my desk, like having a moment, like, how am I?
Yeah.
But I ended up like creating this beautiful project. It was like a folder, it was like wire bound with like a little hole with a logo so you can see it. It was all like a booklet. I made like 20 of them. I had to do posters and I had to deliver all this stuff at their events at Agilent on time with the posters, like. And they give me a credit card. I was like, whatever it takes, let's make it happen. So that was like the craziest project.
Damn.
I felt
by yourself?
Yeah, I was like, well, I had some help, but I was the guy, dude. I was like,
and then
graphic design, project manager, poster guy. I was dealing with it. It was crazy.
Isn't the worst part though that it's also brief? Like the art is like a moment almost.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, most of the projects that I've done don't exist. Like I've done I can say I've done 1,000 logos. I can say that over my time.
Wow.
Most of them
Damn. Like the companies themselves?
Yeah, there's just somebody's project. Somebody's like, oh, let's do the logo. You design a logo and it doesn't exist. It's just an idea that came and went. So
Wow.
I'm not crying over the fact that they don't exist anymore. What I do enjoy is the fact that I had the opportunity in that moment to create something for somebody, right? And so that gave me the reps that I needed to do the next project. So really, again, I'm not crying over the fact that they don't exist, but I was able to do the project. It helped me get to where I am today. So I'm good at making logos because I've done so many. And the fact that they don't exist anymore is not a problem. It's the journey really that really is the best part.
If, like, this is obviously subjective, I guess, but like an example is I have a hat where 4 different artists worked on each side of the hat. Does that inherently make it more valuable just because multiple artists worked on something?
Well, it depends who the artist is. I mean, if you got Picasso, Rembrandt, and
Yeah.
it's like, it does depend on who done it. I mean,
For sure.
But I don't know, a joint project like that. I don't know. I feel like it dilutes it a little. I don't know why. It feels like it feels not right. I don't know why. Because I wouldn't want to do that.
Since we're talking about branding, though, I went to a Spurs game recently, and in the shop, I thought to myself, I was like, how come nothing really competes with Mitchell and Ness designs? Have you ever felt like that? Everything is just like super clean from the NBA and the Mitchell and Ness stores.
You have me at a disadvantage because I don't know what are you talking about.
Oh, wow. Nice. It's
That's
like
the one thing I didn't do.
It's basically like the league's, I don't want to say brand, but like all their designs go to that company that distributes. So it might be worth checking out because it does remind me how clean yours is a little bit,
So does this company create brands for different teams?
I might as well just...
Or like they create...
Hold up.
That's interesting. What? You're asking me an opinion about something? Let's go.
Nostalgia company, purveyor of throwback team apparel, replica jerseys, snapbacks, and fitted hats since 1904. So maybe that's why it's so dope, is because it's all nostalgia, a theme.
Oh, they got history.
Yeah, it might be
They've been around. They've been doing graphics since 1904.
Yeah.
Are you serious? I mean,
yeah.
How old are we? Combined, not even that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is pretty cool. There's a history there that you can't. There's something about doing something that's so long. There's a history. There's a continuity. There's something very special. I mean, there's like a legacy that's open to that.
Same. I feel like that about firms too, right? Like architectural firms. You're like, well, you've been designing buildings for like that long.
Yeah. So there's a combined history, and there's they always say, they take all the years of experience. We've had like 1,000 years of experience in this, whatever. There's something to be said about that. I'm sure they have books and like all they've collected and they've archived all this.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you're right.
You're going to your own library to get inspiration. Shit. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
yeah.
And what's cool is that you have
generations of artists, right? It's a giant company, I'd assume.
So check this out. In England, there's a cathedral called Ely Cathedral. It took, I want to say, like 200-300 years to build. At least 200 years. So think about this. So Grandpa's working on it. He falls over. His son's working on it.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
Rock crushes him, and now grandson's doing it, and like generations of craftsmen working on the same freaking project. That's great. Nobody's doing that. We build stuff. I don't know how long the pyramids took, but generations of people doing this stuff. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that something you'd want to impress on your own kids, or is that like, are they creative?
Actually, they are. No, they are. I have 3 daughters and a boy. So my oldest daughter, Emma, she's an artist. She does cartooning, character design, and stuff like that. So she's very into like World of Warcraft, D&D, and
nice.
Stuff like that. So, and then my other daughter, she's also an artist. So she has a different style. She's also an artist. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to force my kids to do what I'm doing because that's not necessarily what they want to do. So if I can encourage them to pursue their loves and their passions, then I want to. If they need supplies to do that, then I'm going to do that. It's basically whatever it is they want to do. I want to provide those resources.
How would you tell them to like get out there and start selling their craft if they were to like start becoming artists right now? Because I know someone's going to see this and want to do it.
I mean, they get mad at me because I'm always like, dude, you got to sell that, dude. Like, no, I don't want to sell that. Leave me alone, Dad. Like every time they do something, I'm like, let's turn it into a business. Like I'm always thinking business, So they're like, they get mad at me, but they just want to just enjoy the process. They don't necessarily, maybe they don't do that. Maybe they don't end up doing that the rest of their lives. But in the moment, really, that tells me it's like, why don't you just freaking enjoy it? Just enjoy that and don't try to freaking, make it a business, try to sell some shit. You know what I mean? Just
you're like, why don't I film it and cut it into clips and make a podcast for it too, guys?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing next. I'm gonna sell merch.
No, but that is an interesting question, right?
I'm gonna brag on my daughter. My daughter Emma, she grew up playing Club Penguin. Did you play Club Penguin when you were a kid?
Mm-hmm.
You know the Puffles.
I know what it is. I know what it is.
Okay, so she likes the Puffles, little characters. So she creates Puffles like other characters from like World of Warcraft into a Puffle version. So she's
interesting.
combined the two. And I'm
interesting.
Like, everyone loves them because they have their favorite like character in D&D, and they want it into a Puffle version. So she can do that. She does that.
That's a brand already. That's a brand, dude.
Can you talk to her, please? She's not listening to me. So maybe
dude, I would call it Puffle version. Like that's it. And then people would be like, "Can I get a Puffle version of blank?" That's it.
Exactly. She does commissions, so she's online. So they do things. She does commissions a lot. So I set her up with a website.
Damn,
I set both
dude.
up with a website. So,
dude, you're basically coming back to like cross collaboration, right? Like we're not even talking about collabing with people, but like art forms, whether it's genre bending and music, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
that's how you make a niche.
There's a guy on YouTube right now. He's combining two bands. So like it's like what if like Metallica, the Doors doing a Metallica song. It's so weird because they're singing like it's the Doors singing like a famous Metallica song.
Interesting.
Puppets, but it's done in like in the Jim Morrison kind of sound.
Weird.
That's cool, man. I wish I had that. Anyways, so yeah, the mix it's interesting to be able to do that stuff.
Yeah, everything is going to get as custom and as creative as you want, because even with AI, right, you can be like, I want art in this vein of this person, right, that looks like this. It's pretty crazy.
But yeah, the thing with AI, though, it still looks AI. You can tell that it's AI. So I think the future, here's my prediction, the future is going to be the money.
5 fingers?
What? Oh, you can buy a ring. You can buy a ring so it's an extra finger. So when they take pictures, they're like, well, that's AI. They couldn't be me.
Wow.
Extra finger in your finger.
I don't wear rings. Just say that.
No, but it's a finger. It's basically like you put a ring and it's like an extra finger. So it looks like AI. So like so I'm not saying
that's genius. It's genius. That's genius.
So my prediction is that the future is in people that make actual art. So the actual artists are going to be, because there's going to be so much AI stuff, people are going to be paying big money for actual, human art. That's just
damn. Oh, so a little renaissance, you feel, is coming.
So on this day, I predicted that human art is actually going to be more in demand because there's going to be so much AI art. People are going to be looking for real artists.
Whew. That's a tough one though. What about video games? When video games are so realistic that we can't tell the difference, is that just when we're in the game literally at that point?
Maybe we're in their game right now.
That's fair. Take off the helmet then.
We're talking about like not multiverse, but multiple universes. Parallel. Is that what we're talking about now?
Technically, it would be like Ready
Maybe we're
Player
in a
One, I guess.
simulation. Yeah. Maybe we're in a simulation right now.
I agree. It's possible.
I don't know, man. We could go there.
How do you foresee the integration of virtual reality and augmented reality in future marketing campaigns?
Oh my gosh, dude. Well,
Stressing you
hopefully I'll
out?
be dead by then. I don't,
Oh, wow.
I don't know, man. I'm not going to Mars. I'm telling you right now. I'm staying on Earth. I'm an Earther. So,
Earther.
I'm an Earther. Yeah. I don't know. Like, here's what I believe. I mean, I don't know. But here's what I think. I think everybody should be involved with technology, learning about it, practicing using it, trying to find ways to, whatever you're doing, find a way to integrate AI into your life. Figure out like how you can use it, because you don't know. You know, like you could sit there and worry about it, like, oh my gosh, AI is going to destroy the world. Okay, fine. Like one day we could be talking. I look out the window. I see this red mushroom cloud. I'm like, all right, bye, thanks. You know, like that could happen. The Skynet. Skynet could be turned on. As soon as we get off the phone. So until then, I'm just gonna YouTube it, bro.
That's real.
I'm just gonna learn the skills and learn.
But
interesting.
I think the fact that you don't have the answer should be a little more encouraging, though, to people that are like, I don't know where to start, or like overthinking it. I feel like that's a good answer, though.
Okay, so overthinking. Okay, so overthinking is interesting. It's basically like I heard this one guy saying, overthinking is basically you trying to predict the future because you're trying to mitigate risk. You're trying to like come up with the best outcome. Like you don't know, so might as well do something. You might fail. Fine. At least you'll have some data. Like, oh, this thing doesn't work. We'll try something else. But you can't predict the future. You can't mitigate risk. The only thing you can do is find your happy place and just go there. Just go. Start with your happy place. What brings you joy? Go do that. In whatever realm you're doing. You know what I mean?
Do you have any unexpected outcome or success stories?
Oh my gosh. I mean, my whole life has been that way. I mean,
an unexpected success story. I love it.
I mean, check this out, bro. My parents met in Australia. Check this out. Like, I'm in Fort Lauderdale. How did I end up here? My parents met in Australia. My mom went there to find work in the 60s. My dad went there to school. They got married. They took a cruise ship. They went to Hong Kong. And then they traveled across Asia by land, all the way to Europe. It took them 6 months. Okay, that's crazy. I was born in Athens, bounced around Europe. I've been to the Middle East. Somehow, I ended up in California. I never imagined I would do that. I was there in Silicon Valley, ended up in Santa Rosa, got married, have kids. Now I'm in Fort Lauderdale. Like that. Think about the journey that my DNA took to get here. Like that's pretty remarkable. Like, I mean, you got to believe God is something. I'm not a big preachy guy, but I gotta believe that there is some sort of creative being, and that could make that thing. How do you organize the whole planet? Think about it, bro. There's like 8 billion people. How do all these people move around? And everybody somehow gets to where they need to be at some point or other. Like that's a big deal. Like I don't know, man. That's a crazy program.
It's funny because when you say that, I immediately go to, is our planet like protected in a sense? Do you feel?
I think it's protected. I mean, right now it looks like it's crazy time. It's crazy time,
But from nukes or like destruction, inevitable things like that, like, do you think?
It's possible. Right now, the planet seems like a pickup truck filled with a couple guys who are drinking and driving like crazy. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. That somebody's like, I mean,
Grandpa's driving.
Grandpa's driving. He's drunk. There's a couple kids in the back holding on to dear life. I mean, that's what it feels like the planet's doing. I mean, yeah, it's possible. Anything's possible. But here's what I tell people: is like, yes, anything's possible, and there's a lot to worry about. I mean, I'm no prepper, but there's all kinds of stuff you can worry about. But do you worry about all that stuff? until the end, or do you just like say, hey, you know what, it could happen, but until then, I'm just gonna do what I'm supposed to, like, do the thing that I was, that's in my heart to do. Like right now, I'm taking care of my family, working, I'm having an amazing conversation with you, and that's all that matters. Like, yeah, it could blow up. I could look out the window, it could be like a red cloud, but I'm not worried about that because you're the most important part. And this conversation right now is the most important conversation in the world. In the world, to me. Right
yeah,
now.
in the moment.
Like,
in the moment.
I'm not thinking about anything else. So I don't care.
I feel that.
Hit it, Skynet.
Now, what is the emotional aspects of branding for companies? How do you take that into account? Like, are you over here thinking of colors?
The way I do branding, it's like over the years, it's like going from the analytical side of like what we think should be to a feeling. So I'm in this place where like I feel things more. I go with my gut feeling. If it doesn't feel right, I'm not gonna send it out. Like I'm just basically doing it till it feels good. Like, I know it sounds weird, but like when I get super freaking excited about it and I send it and I know it's the right thing. I have this client, and for many years I would send things out. I was like, oh God, you know, this is the worst part is to hit send because now all of a sudden it's no longer in your control. It's in somebody else's control. They have to look at it, process it, and then give you feedback. Which if you don't like confrontation and like criticism, that's the worst thing, right? But now it's like when I send it, I feel good. It's so good that I'm like, I know it's gonna hit.
Your confidence.
It's not even. It's like it's not even about confidence. It's about like I feel so.
You love it yourself.
Yeah, and I only send it when I love it myself. Like there's nothing about it that I hate because if I hate it, then I have to keep working on it. So when it's 100%, when I feel super jazzed, like man, this is awesome.
I relate.
I can't wait to send it.
I relate so heavy right now. I relate when I'm recording music, like when I like have written something that I'm like, dude, I need to record this because like I'm not going to feel the same tomorrow. Like, I feel so strongly, like I hear it a certain way or reading it a certain way in your head. You might not feel that way. You're going to forget it. And then, when it comes to like having the final take, right? Like re-recording and stuff, a lot of times it's good, it's passable, but I'll be like, but could it be like, damn, could it be like, shit, you know, like how do I really take this like just a little further? It's interesting. I'm trying to tie this into both art forms.
It's dangerous because
finishing point, right? There's no finishing point.
It's dangerous when you keep working something too much because you can mess things up. Like sometimes your first go is the best.
Damn it. I'm about to break my microphone. No, you're so right, though. You're so right. Because even with paintings, I've had so many where I'm like, it looked perfect, and then I like did one more layer, or like it was already great. Like once you love it, it's done. I love it. It's done.
And then why do we go further? That's a good question. Why do we feel the need to go a little further?
I think because you anticipate if it's good, it'll still be good on the next touch up. It'll still be the same feeling if I just, you know, I don't know how else to describe that.
Time, why mess it up? Why keep working it? What's missing? If it's good the first time, because I have an opinion about that. You want to hear it?
Yeah, go for it.
I think we don't trust we don't trust the process. We don't trust it. It's almost like it's too easy. It can't be that easy. It can't be that simple. And we're like, no, we gotta effort it into being the best. Like we put value into actually working hard. Like, what if
this is self-sabotage? This is how it happens, by the way. Because I'll figure out how something works and then I just move on.
I do design. Sometimes I'll do a project and I'll do the first one that I do is the best one.
Damn.
But I gotta be all like, oh, I gotta do another sample, or
that was just a draft.
No, no, it can't be that easy. And your mind's like, no, it can't be that easy. But it actually, if you're in the right state, it is that easy. You can literally do the first one, it could be the best one.
Here I am trying to relate it again, but it's almost like a singer that's already warmed up their vocals, right? You're like, dude, I've been designing for years. I already know how this goes. I should just trust my stroke.
Yeah.
You just jump into it. You're jumping in at level 10, right? Like at all full energy in a sense. Like you've trained yourself to turn it on.
Exactly. If you're doing it every day, if you're doing the work every day, it's like practice, reps. And then at some point, you could just jump into it. Like I talk to people about what they're doing. You know, they come to me, they say, "Hey, I need this, and this," and I have a conversation, discovery session, and like before the end of the conversation, I know what I'm doing. I already have the project done. It's in my head as we're talking, and I just can't. You know, as soon as I get off, I'm like, and then sometimes I have to like actually wait before I send it because it feels like I actually spent some time. So this is like, it's stupid, but I feel like if I said it too soon, they'd be like,
I know. Yeah. Nah, I agree.
Wait. Like
Dude, and
you're doing something.
It's even worse with emails now and AI, right? Because I could send a ton at once if I really wanted to, or I could formulate my response really within a sentence, but it's really formalized in a whole, yeah. Same thing. Gotta wait. The whole world hasn't adopted though, but the whole world hasn't adopted like your work ethic or how fast things are and stuff. So that is strange that we have to like dumb down our, I don't know how to say that.
We gotta now. Okay, this is a secret. Now we're talking about secrets. You talk about like gatekeeping. You know, sometimes it doesn't take that long to do something because we've already done the reps. We know how to do something. But
true.
The perception is if it takes a long time, it's better.
That's
the perception of the client. So like if you send it as soon as I mean, I've had times where I've done something and I want to send it as soon as they get off the phone. I'm ready to send it.
Here's a good question. Here's a good question. If you can make a mural in like 30 minutes and it's like a whole wall and it's beautiful, or is your work diminished because they're like, how did he? You know what I mean? Like when there's a question of how you did something, I think is what it is. Like, how did you do that?
So here's a good. So if it takes you 30, if it takes you 30 minutes to do something, say 30 minutes is not that long, right? But it took you 30 years to be able to do it in 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's like when someone says, well, how long did it take you to do that? You say, it took me 30 years to do that. That's the right answer. Because you can't do that. If you can crank out something, say 10 minutes, it's not 10 minutes. It took you 30 years.
Yeah, that's the argument for being paid more too, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
Like you're not paying me for the time; it's for my experience, how long it took to learn and get good. Yeah.
You know the story of the plumber, right? He comes in. Yeah, it was like something's not where he comes in, looks around, he hits something with a hammer, and it fixes it, and he charges the client $30,000. So it only, but knowing where to tap took him 30 years to figure it out. That's what you're paying for.
Interesting.
And so if you can solve a client's problem quicker, or if the result is basically the result, it's not how long it takes you to do something, it's the result. What's the result? The result is the site is working again. The result is the brand is up and running, or they have a new brand quickly. They're not wasting months and months trying to figure something out with a Fiverr. Don't get me started. I use Fiverr. I'll be honest, I use Fiverr, but it's knowing how to ask the right questions of the people. And they're good at what they do. But I'm not Fiverr, and I don't charge Fiverr because I've been doing it for 30 years. Because I can do it so quickly because my mind's like, it's what it does. It's like, I think that way. As soon as I get off the phone, I'm already doing it. But that didn't happen overnight.
But, like, here's another good question. I ask people this all the time.
Get out of here, no buts!
I ask people this all the time. Did you do a lot of free work in your life that led to, like, bigger gigs and inadvertently, like, getting your name out there?
In retrospect, all the free gigs that I did didn't have an effect on me today, but they did have I had to just free gigs. I did free. I had buddies in the band, and I used to do the cassette tape design. That's how old I am. And their flies for their gigs. I didn't do a lot of free stuff. I did some. You do have to do some because it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But at some point you you have to say no. You have to set some boundaries. No, bro, I can't do any more free stuff. I tell people, if I want more exposure, because they come up with, oh, you get more exposure, the whole thing. I said, listen, if I need more exposure, I'll just take off my clothes.
That's a good one. I'm gonna use that. I'm taking that one.
Take it. Run with it.
A time when you had to push the boundaries of creativity, and what was the emotional driving force behind it?
Okay. So the emotional driving force. So the emotional driving force for me is to, I want it to be better. Like ultimately, what I do, what I get excited about when I see something, I want to make it better. Like that is like when I see a brand and it sucks, it's like I desire in my bones to make it better. But you got to pay me.
Mine.
Money,
no, I'm like, does that suck? Do you think it sucks?
I can't see much. I'll tell you later. But money does make things go. I mean, like if you ask my opinion, free opinion, you get what you pay for, obviously. But money does have it's weird, but money is a currency. It's a vibration. So when I can tell a lot by somebody how they treat money, right? So I can tell a lot by a client by how quickly they pay me, the resistance they give me, the lack of calls or how soon they call me. So all those aspects of client interaction tells me a lot about how working with them is going to go. If they pay me right away, no questions asked, dude, we're good. Like I know a lot about you. If you're trying to grind me down on the price, why are you so as soon as you say why you're so expensive, I want to like press the button and the door opens, like I go through the floor and disappear, like into another. Like that's what I want to do. Like
I'm out.
I mean, I'm out, bro. I'm out. Back to the question is, I want it to make better, but money does help. Help me.
Dude, it does suck that like the best artists that I've ever worked with and commissioned all took forever, and a lot of times after I've already paid for it, they're like hard to even talk to. Like I need a slight tweak. Can you change this one thing? And it's like it's gonna take weeks to get back, and I'm like, damn, it's so unprofessional. I hate it, dude. Like I spend a lot of money on art.
I tell you from a perspective of an artist.
I feel that.
When you put something out there, you put your heart and soul. You created something. You get paid. That's great, and it's done. Like that moment is done. That journey is ended. So when you come back as a client and say, "Yeah," it's really hard because that moment is past, and it's a weird thing. So it's not.
Here's a better way to word it. It's like I should have asked for the transparent. I should have asked for the type of file I needed, or I'll pay up front for the art, and because I paid for it up front, now they can just really take their time. That happens a lot too.
Yeah, that's not professional. Like when I do, say I do a logo, like my goal is to like go above and beyond what we ask for. Like this how I work. If you do a logo with me, I take 50% deposit because now we have a contract. I took your money and I committed to doing the work. I'll do the work, and I'm professional enough to know, like, I know you're going to need JPEGs, PNGs, AIs, SVGs. I know you're going to need all that stuff because you're going to do merch, you're going to do website, you're going to do logo, you do printed material. So you need different formats, different things, black, white, color, different, and I'll do all that for you. Right? I'll send that to you. Well, I'm going to get paid, the last payments, and then I'm going to send you the files. Now, as I always say, like, if there's anything missing, if you need anything, let me know. Let me know. Like I'll create, but to actually tweak the project, that's a whole nother. That's like now you're going into like, well, the agreement was you get like, whatever you get 4 ideas, we work them, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I should have used the word just like transparent background or change color, like white or black, but that was really what I meant. But I get what you're saying.
Dealing with somebody, their level of, I can tell but what you said, I can tell you they've only been in the business maybe like less than 10 years, maybe less than 5 years. How long they've been doing design? Do you know?
They're pretty young.
That
So
person?
yeah, you're probably right. They're pretty young.
Okay, so what you ran into was somebody with inexperience to foresee that you're going to need all these different files. So you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
they didn't treat you right because they were inexperienced. You
I
didn't
just
know
hate
to ask the right
that in my experience, though, it's always the most talented people that are like somehow have this quirk of unprofessionalism somewhere. You know, you just never know what to expect.
artists are. I mean, yes, I went through many years being a total dick. I'm sorry.
Had a
On
phase.
behalf of the, I mean, it's an emotional. Like money does weird things to you. So when you mess with the money, it does. People do. They respond different, right? And artists are emotional creatures, and we get triggered. But we're emotional. We feel things, right? So we might have the art down, but we're not necessarily good business people. We're not necessarily got high EQ, emotional IQ.
That's so true.
Right?
That's a good point.
So you're dealing with like weird people.
Yeah, you're actually lucky to find an artist that has any business sense, in my opinion. I feel like you're lucky to find that.
It's rare. It's rare. Like I think I have pretty good business sense. Like in terms of professionalism, I want to like
best website I ever seen.
Listen. If you go to my Google reviews, I have one client who's complained. So I haven't screwed up too many times, but I've made mistakes, and so hopefully you learn from those mistakes. You don't.
Have you ever had to oversee a team of people or anything?
Not in that sense. Not no, but I do like as a creative director, I manage vendors, things like that. So I manage the job, and I need to hire creatives. I'll do that.
Outsource
vendors. I'll do that. So that's the extent of my, manage, not in house.
Can you describe a time when you had to predict future trends for a branding project? How did the anticipation shape the emotional tone?
Trends are interesting. Okay, so I had a client I worked with for 10 years, and she was a trend chaser, and that was very
never heard that.
Difficult. Trend chaser. So she'd be like, "Oh, look at this site. I like this site. I wanted my site to look like this site. Oh, I like what this person's doing. I'm actually going to interview her this weekend, so I'm not going to name her name." So she would like drive me nuts because she was always chasing the puck. Do you watch Gretzky? He had a great quote.
Yeah.
He says, I go where the puck is going to, not where it's been. Because if you see the puck over there and you go
there, by the time you get there, it's already moved. Yeah.
So you can't be following trends. Yes and no, meaning by the time you get on the trend, it's over. So she was chasing trends. Like I'd be starting the website on Monday, I'd finish it by Friday. By Friday, she's like, "Oh, we're changing the direction." God.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
God, she paid me. Like I'm not complaining.
It's still the worst. You're like,
It's like you go one direction, you get yanked. Like it's just whiplash, emotional whiplash. So
it's not what I meant by emotional.
You got me emotional now, dude. But so the thing is, you have to sense, like, I think intuition plays a part of it. You have to look what's going around you, and you have to sort of intuit, like, what do I need to do today to get me to where I need to be tomorrow? So you don't really know, but you sort of have to take some steps to at least align you on the right path. So, okay, so I started being on people's podcasts. Next thing I know, I'm doing my own podcast. So I started, it's just a sense, like I need to do my own thing also. So I don't know where this is going to lead. It could be just a hobby, or it could be the next Joe Rogan. I don't know. But I'm doing the steps now because I have a sense that it's going to turn into something. I don't know what exactly, but I believe, I have faith that something is going to. I don't know.
Do you have a client that was like the worst client?
Of course.
Don't want to talk about him.
First rule of bad clients: we don't talk about bad clients. It's like Fight Club.
Okay, then how about?
Yes, no.
Go ahead.
No.
Go
I
ahead.
want to tell you about my bad client. This is crazy.
I was just going to reword it. I was just going to reword the question.
No, I had a great psycho client, dude. I went to her house for a meeting. Her assistant opened up. So there's a big pile of ants. There's a big anthill by the door. Because this first signal, something's wrong. So her assistant opens up the door at her house, and I see the client in the back walking across from the bathroom to her bedroom in her towel. I'm like, okay. So I had to wait outside for the client to get dressed. Okay. I go in there and we're talking, and I had my coffee cup, and I put my coffee down, and this lady kept moving my coffee cup to another spot on the table. And I didn't realize it at first. And I get my coffee drink and put it down where I wanted it to be. And she kept moving. So she did. And all of a sudden, I'm like, what's going on here? And then she was like, her assistant. She was all nicey. And then she would get triggered and yell at her assistant. And then apologize. Go back to talking to me. Get triggered again, yell at her for something else. Apologize. Come back. And it was like this coffee, yell, apologize, back. It was back and forth. And it was like, something's going on. And then I did the project. It was just a business card. I sent it, and she yelled at me, all caps in the subject line. And
wow.
I'm out. I'm like, listen, I'm not the right guy. Here's a design. God bless. Bye, I'm out. She kept trying to get me to do the job for like a week straight. Like she was psycho, dude.
Wow.
So that's the worst one.
So you don't take clients that are psycho.
Unless you got to be dressed.
At least.
No, sometimes it's not a good fit. Sometimes you have you listen. There's a sense that this isn't a good fit. So,
but the majority of the time they have clothes, or no?
Oh yeah. 99% they've been clothed. Ever since then they've been no clothes because I don't hang out with clients that are not clothed. So
now I make them FaceTime me before I get there.
Yeah.
How do you navigate complexities of changing public sentiment in the digital age? Does it have an impact on like storytelling or the strategy?
I'd like to. There's a part of me that again, it's that puck thing. Like at some point, you have to not give a shit. I know it's weird to say that, but you have to. Your own person, you have to go with
no outside influence. Is what it feels like.
There's a lot of things I could be doing. There's a YouTube for everything. Do this, don't do that. I mean, like as soon as I start podcasting, people are like, "Oh, do this. Things that you got to do to podcast. Don't do that." Like if I listen to all of it, I'll never do a podcast. So at some point, you have to,
stop consuming. Right.
Go out and do something. Like stop watching videos. Actually, go do something.
Stop this podcast and get out of here.
Get out of here. I'm going to do my own podcast.
It's a good point, though.
So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what I got.
Yeah, I mean, changing public sentiment, that makes sense. In what ways can the pursuit of branding excellence contribute to or detract from the quest of personal fulfillment?
I mean, if you're working for somebody else...
It's a good answer already. That's a good answer already.
The fulfillment comes in the...
You're saying be good so you don't have to work for anybody is what it sounds like,
Be good. Yeah.
Like if you're excellent, then you work for yourself, right?
Yes. If you love what you're doing and it's good, it's really good. You're not working for somebody. You basically like it just happens so that somebody came into your world that wants what you got, they're paying you for it, and they get to join you in the journey. Like it's almost like performance. Like being on stage when you first started, it's hard because like all these people, you got to perform. Oh my God, I hope I don't screw up. But eventually, after you do the reps, it's not about them. Like I've been on stage playing drums, and I don't even pay attention. I don't even know that this is an audience because I'm having so much fun playing drums. It's like I'm enjoying the process so much. That's all that matters. It's like me just flowing in the stage. So there happens to be an audience there. Whoopty. Like I don't even care. So design and what I do is like it's a bonus to get paid. It's a bonus to have an interaction with somebody. But ultimately, the process of doing it is like, that's the best part, man. And it doesn't matter if there's somebody there or not. The client is the bonus.
So do you actually get excited for your projects?
But yeah. That's the only thing I want to do. Like, if there's a project I'm not excited about, it's horrible. It's really horrible. It's really a horrible thing. So over the years, I've gotten better at picking the projects that I know that it's going to be. Because if I'm excited about it, the project's going to be good, and the client's going to be really happy, and they're going to love the project. Like, I have this one client, I'm going as fast as I can, and she's loving the work. There's hardly any changes. Like, I'm going to some weird places, creating, coming up with some interesting things, and she's like, "This is amazing," and that's the response I want, and I'm having fun because I'm just allowed to go to those weird places in my soul.
That's actually how I feel like you can identify a pretty good artist, is when the revisions are pretty minimal from the jump, when you're like, dude, I can barely tell you what's wrong with it, right? Like,
that is the best, because it came from the best part of you, and that is the best work. Because if you start overthinking stuff, we talked about this, it starts to suck, because you get into your brain, your analytical brain, you're sort of overthinking. Now you're the accountant or your HR, you're like, well, we can't do that. Well, can you make this bigger? But if you just let it go and be,
how often do you go with that first idea though?
I try to go with that idea most of the time nowadays. I'm having so much fun.
I actually think it not just speeds up the workflow, but I'm actually liking the art that I'm making more, just like with music, right? Like production, choosing my instruments quicker, don't be so picky, kind of get it faster. And I don't know, but I just noticed that right now. Like, it's a lot more enjoyable too, the process of it.
You're able to produce more. And that's ultimately, the more you produce, the more reps, the quicker you go, the more feedback. You have more data. So as you do it faster and quicker, you actually have more data to go by, and then you end up start to hit more and more. Hit it the first time.
I guess because I don't know what I want though. That's the difference. When I'm making music, I never know what I'm doing. Like, it's just kind of like banging fucking pots and pans together, and then you're like, that sounds cool. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, you're having fun. Like, as long as it's like a childlike sort of tendency, you just go in there. You don't have to feel like, oh, this is what we're going to do now. It's just go in there, have fun. Just start messing around. Like, that's really what I would do. Like, just start messing around. Like, we're having a conversation. We came up with, like, the Hurling Through Space T-shirt, and we, because we're just messing around. There was no like agenda to, oh, we're gonna create a brand, all this stuff. But we're just two guys. We're friends, and we're just having fun. That's how we create things.
What would you say are like the craziest advancements for graphic design? Like, obviously we got tablet, we got Adobe, things like that. But what would you say really changed up the game from what you've seen, like from when you started?
Oh God, I mean, inserting AI into Adobe products is a game changer. Like Photoshop, you can create, you take an image, and you can expand the background all day long, and then, that's crazy. That is crazy. AI is in Adobe Premiere, so you can actually edit a video, creates the copy of the transcript. Check this out, and you can cut and paste. You can take a spot from this interview, copy it, and paste it to the front, and it moves all the video to the front of it. So you're going to take a spot from our conversation, maybe put it on the front of the video, like a teaser, right? But in Premiere, you can cut and paste that, just the transcript to the front, and it moves all the video there too.
Wow,
crazy.
I'm stuck trying to understand it.
You know how you're going to edit this
video?
Yeah. You're going to go in there and start. How do you edit this video?
Just drop it in and start cutting it up. I get what you're saying on that Premiere part. No, I'm using Movavi. I'm using Movavi, but I know how Premiere works.
Okay. Even the program that we're using, Riverside, does a lot of that stuff. So you can edit take out the ums, all the spaces, all the filler words. There's some basic stuff, but Premiere is pretty freaking. I mean, I'm just scratching the surface. So I'm enjoying freaking figuring out how to edit video. I'm a graphic designer. What's funny is that people are like, "Oh, do you do any video editing?" Yeah, I do a little bit. Next thing you know, I'm editing video. That's not my main thing, but I'm I have a client who's sending me all this. I'm doing color correcting.
Damn. I mean, no, for real though. If you can throw digital art over it, dude, that's a game changer. You just upped your price to whole new skill.
Yeah, because now I can do more, and AI is pretty remarkable. I mean, you can do stuff in Illustrator as well. There's tons of things you can do nowadays inside of Adobe. Just I haven't scratched the surface. And this ChatGPT, that's a whole other application.
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking you meant you could put the text behind the person or something. That's what I was thinking that you meant. Not literally in front.
No, you literally can edit video with text. Don't even touch the video part.
Now I get it. Now I get you. Now I get you. Tell it the command. Tell it the command.
Yeah, you just select, copy this conversation, copy it, move it somewhere else, and it moves the video with it.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, now I get it. Now it's a mic drop. Damn.
I'm out.
Let's see. Legacy and branding. How does the concept of legacy and branding align with or conflict with the notion of impermanence in philosophical thought? It's a hard question.
Not that smart.
In branding, alignment with or conflict with the notion of impermanence.
Life is
legacy. Legacy, That's kind of what I was getting at.
Life is fleeting. Right. So if you're trying to, I think if you try to hold on to that, you're gonna have a hard time. Yeah. The only
Here's why you're wrong though. Here's my argument. Is because you're the one that's in the profession that's we find cave paintings that are thousands of years old. So you're the one that can leave an actual impression behind forever, out of all artists, types of mediums.
Well, I wouldn't say forever because we live in the digital age. I mean, case in point, I have, let's say I have 800 logos that those businesses don't exist. I mean, the logo does exist on my websites. Business doesn't exist. So, in other words, there's nothing, especially digital stuff. There's nothing permanent. Now, there's brands that have been on for a long time. That's kind of, insurance companies been around for hundreds of years. Doesn't sound like your life. Doesn't sound like these companies are been on for a long time. There's Japanese companies that are making sake and these other foods. What's that green stuff? Anyways, but they've been around for hundreds of years. That's real because that was before digital. That's real. That's a thing. It's a company that exists physically. I think those physical things are more permanent than digital. Digital comes and goes. But those companies like that, hundreds of years. It's crazy.
Damn, that's a good point though. I was gonna ask actually, who was your favorite artist that you look up to? What styles, that kind of thing.
My favorite artist is Piet Mondrian. So
no idea. How do you spell it?
Piet, French, Piet Mondrian, and so he did these very minimalist paintings. I don't know if you're looking at it. So those guys back in the Bauhaus movement in the 30s or something, they sort of created graphic design today.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Interesting. This is kind of the abstract stuff I make, but there's no direction with the lines. Because he has vertical and horizontal, but I just don't have a direction. That's the only difference.
Yeah, he's very there's a method to his madness. There's a way he does the work. And that's if you look at the way he does the grids, and that's how I use the grids to sort of put things in different boxes.
So do you feel like the color is spaced out, like purposely?
I don't know what you're looking at. I haven't really read totally into it, but that's the style because it's so analytical. I like that sort of sharpness, the analytical lines. I like that.
It's so weird.
I know. So,
because it looks like somebody put a lot of effort into something super minimal.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of thought that went into that. I mean, because think about it, the artists were doing like realistic, blah blah blah, right? And then all of a sudden, these like modern guys came along and started messing things up. Van Gogh doing some
Dude, that's
like,
fair.
He cuts off his ear. Come on, man, come on.
So
they started messing. Sorry.
How do you interpret like marble sculptures and stuff like that? We're talking about mediums of art. Do you think they were just that zoned in, like spaced out, chipping away, chiseling on another level of, I don't know.
What I like about one famous artist who said, he said, I think it was Rembrandt, no, one of the famous Italians, Michelangelo, one of those guys. Basically, I just remove material until what's underneath is revealed. That's mind-blowing. That work is incredible. I mean, I don't know who's doing that kind of work right now, but that is a legacy. That's something you can't get on digital or social. Like that stuff doesn't exist.
Yeah, you can't 3D print that.
The cathedrals that were, they took 200 to 300 years to build. That's amazing, dude. My grandfather was a woodworker, cabinet maker. I understand craftsmanship. So that is incredible. That's, nobody can, hold a candle to any of those guys. I'm sure there's people who do that kind of stuff, but I don't know who. But those guys are there from another planet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, for real. Because that's why I kind of asked you. Because it's like it seems so realistic that people question how it was made, right? Like it's that good.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about like how I ended up here after this experience, and like how did somebody like that end up there? What kind of life they have? But they got this place where they can remove stone from a block, and next thing you know, you have like like a statue of David. I mean, that's like that's hurling through space, kind of like mind-boggling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't understand it.
To what extent should a brand reflect societal values versus shaping them? Like what kind of ethical considerations?
Well, I mean, brands do shape society, I think, good or bad.
Like an example would be like fast fashion,
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Like you see that's horrible. You see the mountains of clothing end up in some third world country, it's just, and all because they don't want anybody get a hold of that stuff. So and it becomes a money thing, which is just horrible. It's really horrible. I mean,
same for food, all products.
They've destroyed. I mean, this products, what they put in products here in the United States is totally different than Europe. So I mean, you look at pictures of people in the 60s and 70s, they're real thin, and then they started adding all kinds of crap to the food, and now people are like dying. Dude, I don't even want to get conspiracy. It's not even conspiracy. I think it's a what do you call it? Demolition. It's a planned demolition of the human body. They're literally collapsing the human body through food and drugs. So
the environment,
create the problem through food. They create the problem through food, and then they sell you the drugs to try to mitigate the problem. So they're making money both ways. I don't want to get all Alex Jones on you, but that's what.
No, you're totally right though, because you'd be surprised how many videos I see of people talking about like food not tasting the same or just little things like that. And I'm like, what other countries having this problem? It's fucked up.
No, I mean, not Europe's.
Yeah.
These things are that are banned in other countries that have food here. I have a friend of mine, dude. I have a friend, guy, got an Instagram channel. He goes around like talk about labels. He's actually he reads X-rays. But he's very into health, very fit, and he's all about the labels and what people put in their bodies. He goes around. He has an Instagram page and he's reading the labels. He's very funny because he's very. Anyways, Alan, shout out to Alan. Dude,
Let's see.
You're working me, man. I love it, man. You're making me think about things I've never thought about.
Let's see. I'm almost done here. Got a couple more.
No, I'm good, man. We're good.
What does it mean to lead a meaningful life, and how can brands facilitate or hinder this pursuit?
I think a meaningful life is independent of a brand. Has nothing to do with it. Meaningful life comes from, I would say, your relationship with God first of all. You have a relationship with God. It's a relationship with family, your wife, your people. That's meaningful. What can you contribute to their life? It's got nothing to do. Now we're influenced by brands, unfortunately. But I mean, if the brands disappear tomorrow, like it wouldn't do anything. I mean, okay. I mean, if the computer disappeared, yes, I can't do some stuff. When we're talking about brands, I'm not saying we don't need things. We need things to have this conversation. But I got this Logitech thing. I got the Mac here. Blah blah blah. This thing. We need those things, but like to have a meaningful conversation. If we didn't have all this stuff and we met at the coffee shop, we can have a conversation independently. We could be. You and I can have this conversation up on a mountain with no tech. We can have this great conversation just as well without any of this stuff.
We didn't even talk about your favorite brands, actually. So what would you say influenced you, or like what kind of designs do you copy? Maybe did you have favorite cartoons also? Shit.
For sure. Well, there. So,
inspirations.
When I lived in Greece, in England, so when I lived in Greece in the 70s, my grandparents that lived in England, they used to send me this comic book written in the newspaper, Vino magazines. It's from the 70s. So they used to roll them up, they tape them up, package them, and send them. So I would get those. I would read those cartoons. It's lovely to get this package. So I would say my favorite is things that my grandparents.
Damn.
And I used to watch all these American shows. I used to watch like Liver House and Ferry, Dukes of Hazzard.
Damn.
It's a long time. I go way back.
Yeah, you wouldn't think those things would influence you, though. It's pretty cool.
Dude, Hawaii 5-0, bro. That was my favorite show, bro.
Wow.
We had a TV. We used to roll it into the bed, my parents' bedroom. And I would wait on the bed. And then as soon as I saw the first wave, it was like the drums, right? And I would be like jumping up on the bed, Hawaii 5-0, Hawaii 5-0. And so it was a signal to have my parents. We used to watch that show with my parents. That was like literally my favorite show. I used to jump up on the bed.
Man, that was on air for a long time, wasn't it?
Yeah, dude. I used to watch that in Greece. So like there's a lot of American shows we used to watch in Greece.
Interesting.
Steve Dallas, all those weird shows.
How different is life? Because I know that economy is way different.
In Greece?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I grew up in the 70s in Greece, so it was totally different. It was totally different. Especially, it felt like corporal punishment was a thing. Like I told the story, another story. Like I had a teacher punish me in third grade for doing something stupid. I don't know what I did, but she had me stay in class at lunchtime, and she used my hand as an ashtray. Oh my God, dude. This is so wrong, bro.
That's how we end the pod. We just ended on that. And that's what made you who you are. It was character building. She didn't know.
Yeah, dude, she. Thank you, Mrs. Whoever you are.
Wow. Could have just hit me with a ruler.
Burning.
Wow.
Oh, I did that. I got that too. Oh, Dono.
Damn. Paddles.
Metal rulers.
That's crazy.
Paddles with rulers. 70s was weird. It was kind of wild. We got some PTSD.
How do you feel about like next generation? So, are you optimistic? You can't say yes just because you have kids.
No. I mean, yes and no. Like if you take care of your kids, I don't know, you spend time with them, I think things are good. Like it could be, it's positive. But if you don't spend time with your kids, then it's not going to be good. So it's a yes and no. It depends on the parents. It depends on how much time you spend with them, or it's not even the time; it's the quality of time you spend. Actually, just listen. Be on Discord with them. Play games with them. I don't play games. We're on Discord. I watch Discord and play games. So we're involved with the kids. Hopefully they say that. Right, Gigi? She's up there. Anyways. So.
Any getting toward the end here, just any projects you're working on? You excited about for the future?
Oh man, I mean, and like I said, I started my own podcast, and it's called In the Zone with Costas Schuler, and basically doing this with people. You have better questions than I do, so I need to. So my biggest project is also doing a podcast and having cool conversations with people who are interested in, and that's what I'm doing. Which is also cool. The podcast that's the biggest thing that's taken out my time.
Is there a specific reason, like why you're hopping on it? I know you were saying like you think the future's there and stuff.
Like I said, it was something about it that it felt the right time to do. Like it felt like it's time to do this. Like it was an intuitive kind of feeling that I need to do this. I don't know where it's going to lead, but I need to have as many conversations with as many people as I can. I feel this urgency to do this. To do this, I don't know what the future holds. But it feels. But so when I feel that, when I feel the urgency and the sort of the enthusiasm and the love for it, I feel love for this thing. This thing that we're doing right now. I truly love this thing, and I feel privileged to be able to do this, to have the mind and the creativity to put things together, the branding, the technology, and the video, and all that stuff. And that's the fun part of this. So there's something about it that I don't know what the future holds, but I'm very excited about it. I mean, I have this hat that I wear, 100K. I don't know what that is. That's what I'm wearing now. It could be 100,000 followers, or $100,000, or whatever. It could be anything. I don't know, but that's how I do it. I get these weird, I'm like, dude, I can't do this, and I get maniac about it, and I start talking to myself about it, and then I start doing it, and all of a sudden it leads into something very special. So that's what I've done the past 30, 40 years. I sort of operated in this get all crazy, oh, I gotta do this, whatever it is, and I get into it, and it turns out.
I'm trying to adopt that for my next album. I need that right there.
Yeah, bro, I gotta do this.
Last question. What does it mean to be more than rich in terms of personal achievement, contributions to society, family, all that?
Oh my gosh. So I think number one is gratitude is I mean, people who are sad. I mean, they got a lot of money. They're just horrible people. So gratitude is the number one thing that you got. Literally, after this show, I'm going to sit down in my journal and I'm going to write my wins of the day. So this is what I talked to you. I have this thing, and blah blah blah. As many wins, so gratitude. And what was that thing I was saying? And the ability to have relationships with people. Right now, you and I have a relationship. We've had a 2-hour relationship on the show, and it's the most amazing thing. I'm super grateful. I'm glad. At first, I was I saw something on your Instagram, and I was I don't know. There's something but something inside says, "No, do this." You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going to lead to. Do it. Yeah. This is important for not just you, but it's important for you. So I wanted to honor your willingness to have a show, take a chance on this weirdo. You're a weirdo. I'm a weirdo. So that's what. So those are the two things: relationships and having gratitude, and not being so full of shit. Meaning, like, you know, I'm not. I don't have all the answers. That's okay to admit that. You know.
For sure.
So anyways, that's what I got.
No, that's pretty good. You learned a lot about visionary design as well. Any like specific links? People gonna find you? How do you promote yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I have my business site, envisionarydesign.com. I can find me there. Costas Schuler. If you just Google me, I have a YouTube channel. I have all the channels, TikTok. If you just Google Costas Schuler, you can connect me whatever channel you wish. Stuff. I got doing shows and stuff. I'm doing as much as I can or as long as I can.
Booking improv comedies as well.
Well, I haven't done any of that, but this is improv.
No, I'm just playing with you because I'm like, for real though. Like, why don't you? I want to, so I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, do it, man. It feels good. I mean, and if you can to me, this is a way to contribute. Like you're contributing to my life, and I get to contribute to your life, to your audience. So I look forward to being a part of your community. So,
I just think you'd be surprised too, dude. Yeah, no, for sure. But I think you'd be surprised if, like, you'd probably be better at it if you kept up with that one too. Like another talent you don't know you have with just improv and performing.
Oh yeah, I mean, podcasting is kind of a performance a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like, in other words, my tank is full right now. All kinds of things. So I'm not seeking to do like improv. If that opportunity comes and it feels like the right thing to do, I'll do that. But I try to be like hands off and kind of be like, oh, what's happening? Kind of go with the flow. Dude,
I feel that.
Talking for 4 hours straight.
No, I feel that though. But you're basically like, you got the same mindset as I do though. Like if it happens, it happens. You let it fall into place.
Yeah. Sure.
But hell yeah.
You got on. This is cool.
Dope. More Than Rich podcast. Costas
Schuler.
Costas Schuler. Awesome. It's been a pleasure. Good 2 hours here. We learned a lot. This is an inspirational episode for like artists, I feel. Like as opposed to all my other episodes, I think artists will benefit from this one the most. So appreciate it.
Yeah.
Be in touch and send me any links you want me to throw in the description below. All right. More Than Rich podcast. We are out.